Listen, I am still trying to get this together. I appreciate you guys being patient with us today, but my system like went on vacation with me. I don't know what's going on, but we're trying our best to get it together. As you can tell, I have Bradley on with me. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Making
So
it do
it
what
is
it do.
my pleasure to have you on, and everybody that's been waiting on us. Thank you so very much for waiting on us inside of the YouTube channel, Ecamm Live's YouTube channel. And I'm not going to play fiddle with this all day. I'm not. Like, I'm sorry. This is going to look funny on TV for one episode for whatever reason. It I don't look as good as Bradley today, so we're going to let him do all the shining. How about that?
You can let me have one day, man.
Yes.
You're a good looking dude, man. So I gotta one up you some kind of way.
Well, there you go. There you go. You can have it today. Man, I look really, really dark, and I'm not gonna fiddle with this all the whole time, but I want to say hello to Richard for hanging out with us today. Richard, man, I had Richard on a couple of weeks ago, and he gave us some real information about how to handle your home network, and I appreciate all the information. You guys go check him out and check out his channel and what he's doing. Today, we get the chance to talk about graphics. I love talking about graphics, and if you are watching today, and you're brave enough to say, hey, I would love for Bradley to audit my graphics. Just take a look at some of the things that I'm doing and give me some tips on how to make it better. I have him live. He's going to do it. Now, I'm going to start off with sharing some information with him that I did, and he can critique, move some things around, hopefully help everybody with graphic ideas. Because to be honest with you, if you know anything about the thumbnail game right now, it is definitely there. You know, you have to have it together. It needs to be right. So he's going to help us with that whole thing. And definitely peace to you, sir. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And this is a great one. So Bradley, you know, you're probably behind Rich Graham, one of the people that's been on this show the most. Like we love having you on. So uh,
Appreciate that, man.
love
Appreciate it.
having you on. So yeah, so what we're doing today is a graphic audit. So if you never heard of this concept, Bradley, can you kind of help me explain this to the people?
Yeah, I mean, in its simplest form, it's the same thing you do with a tax audit, right? Somebody gets in there, looks at your books, see if there's some things that need to be tweaked and fixed, and hey, you missed something here. Can we fix something there to get you the best, tax benefits and stuff like that? It's the same thing with graphics, right? People will send me a screen capture, send me a little snippet of their video, let me know what they're working on. I'll jump in there. We kind of dissect some things, figure out why they did this or why they did that, give them some pointers from my professional opinion, but it's all kind of organic because art is in the eye of the beholder. I will say that. But there are some things that are standards. I think if people will follow those, it'll definitely help their graphics elevate. And we just kind of put those things in, man, and see if we can help some folks do some better things.
And that is it. That is the whole reason why we're doing
That's
this
it.
program. This is what the stream show is all about, helping streamers succeed. In that, graphics is a big deal. Not only do you have to have great content, but your graphics has to be on point as well. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So
Right.
watching a show and being a part of a show like this one will help you get to the place where now you know. Okay, and we appreciate this brother is saying, "Hey, I found Ecamm about 2 months ago. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm 2+ years into it, and still love this product. What it enables us to do, and
Right.
then have met some incredible people like Bradley. So, Bradley, let's just jump into it because the more and more I look at my camera, the worse I get. So let's just go so we can do some things that will inspire some people with graphics. And again, you have some of my graphics, so we can
Right.
kind of start with some of the things that I've done. Big shouts out to you, Rich.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, there you go. I do have him over my shoulder. You know me, man. I'm just trying to get it together. And yes, Bradley is the GOAT of graphics. He is. He is. That's why I love having him on the show.
Now, I always tell people this when it comes to graphics, though. Yeah, I have a professional opinion and blah, blah, blah. I've been at this for about 30 years or so, roughly 30 years. But art is in the eye of the beholder. And I always say this too, kind of jokingly, but I mean it. Tough love is still love. So I'm
Right.
always trying to empower people to help them out. But every now and then, you got a wound to be able to heal. Just like a doctor has to cut on you to do that surgery, he's going to wound
Right.
you. But in the end,
It's gonna heal
it's
you.
for your better. So I always keep that in mind when we work through these things. But yeah, so I have some of your Canva graphics that you sent me on my computer here now, and I'm going to kind of telestrate through those and do some things. Let me put it up on my screen over here. So I have you here. So now we're in Canva. Everybody can see this screen right here.
Right.
Okay, you good? All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of march through these things. I'm gonna use some of Canva's new tools, like they have a new drawing tool, and I'm gonna kind of telestrate on top of what you have here. But we're gonna kind of go through every graphic, go through maybe a little bit quickly because some of the things that work for one will work for others too. But we're gonna kind of just march through these things. Now, uh, first thing off the bat, let's just kind of talk about colors. Right now, the colors are very muted and they're not really good contrast for each other. Typically, what I would say, especially when you're dealing with colors, is this one right here. You know, that's in red, right? And your
Right.
background is also red. I wouldn't do that. Use more of a contrasting color, even if it was black, something that really sets it off and just says, this is different. Because when we think about thumbnails and things like that, contrast is the key. Also, this white text sitting on top of a light background can be hard to read, right?
Okay.
So always go with stark contrast. The fonts are bold. That's good. I guess this is like a brain or something back here, a
Uh-huh.
schematic of a brain.
Right.
Um, I'd make that bigger, maybe even make it go from edge to edge, really pronounce it, because it almost looks like a walnut right now. I know what it is, but unless it's contributing to the graphic, it's taken away from the graphic, right?
I
I always
got you.
think about it that way. So don't ever add anything just for the sake of adding it, and really make it pronounced and stand out. I'm not sure what this is, or what that means. Um, Also down here, Dr. Strick, because I'm thinking that this PDF, this is the cover page of a document, right?
Right. Right. So it's kind of an announcement of a document, so they can go
Okay.
and get it. So it's not actually the cover because of the size, because it's a square. So it's just a post.
Right, right. Okay. So it's just going to be just in the end, it's just going to be a graphic. It's not going to be
Right.
part of it's not going to be a page.
Right. Right.
Because I know that Canva calls everything pages. So I wasn't sure if
Right.
this was like a PDF or something. Yeah, but your name should be more prominent than maybe even the bio link, or even set that off in another color to let people know who you are. But little things like this, unless these things are for a reason, I wouldn't use them. Um,
Gotcha.
Top 10, or even put the word top and then 10 real big. So people know, okay, it's 10 of these things, right? So top 10 tools for blah, blah, blah. So even think about things like that, different ways to lay out the text so you're pronouncing the different parts or the aspects of it. But yeah, but overall, it's pretty good. It's just the contrast things. And I would kind of make more distinction between the different font sizes and definitely push your name up. Um, that's it for that one. For this one here, contrast is better for this. I like that. You have a lot of dead space, right?
So in dead space, what is it? More layering?
Well, right here, all this extra orange in the background, it serves no purpose. There's nothing there. So I call it dead space.
Uh-huh.
So what I would do is grab all of this and make it bigger. And so instead of this orange being an outline around it, and let me just kind of undo all this stuff. And since we got a little time, I would grab these things and now use that orange to make a shape. Instead of it being a border, now the orange has more dynamics in it.
I got you.
You see, now instead of it being like just a circle of orange that means nothing, you know
Right.
what I mean? And so now you pronounce the graphics, and now the orange is making a unique shape too that kind of follows the shape of your bubble, right?
Right.
Versus you now have, bring in things like that because now even this spatter brings attention to that link.
Right.
So now you're using the different elements to draw attention to other things. Um, YouTube, because it's about YouTube, I would bold that, probably make it even a different color. Not that red would be the color, but you see now, YouTube. You see how it's now pronouncing different
Right.
things. You can create hierarchy with size of your typefaces, or even color.
Would you,
And YouTube is red and white, right? So now you're using the brand colors of YouTube to say, okay, even without the little play button, it looks
right.
more official for YouTube,
I
right?
get it. So you wouldn't use that orange color in the background to make YouTube that color to make it um, stand
No,
out as well.
I might even change that color to the YouTube color instead,
Gotcha.
right?
That
Or
looks
do a
so much better.
contrast color, or do a gray, because YouTube is black and white, black, white,
Right.
and red, but
And
gray is
red.
a tone of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now the background is just a background. The most important thing on this page is YouTube Workshop. And then the next important thing is, when is it? Right? And so think about that as you build it. And now you're like, well, maybe the date might be too small,
Right.
because
Right.
that's what you want people to do is remember the date, right?
Right.
So when you think about it in a hierarchy kind of standpoint, you start to kind of build on it, right?
Hey guys,
Uh,
as you're watching this, and Bradley is going down a couple of, you can see these are my graphics, of course. Chris Stone, man, it's always good to have you hanging out with us. He's looking through some of my graphics, but if you have something that you're doing, all right, and you don't mind Bradley looking at it and us kind of going through it, just hit us up, make a comment, and we'll tell you how to get Bradley the graphics and live on the stream show today. So let me say it this way, live on the stream show today, regardless of how my camera looks, guess what? We will help you out. All right, we'll help you out. So give us, just put it in the comments, and then we'll give you instructions on how to get the graphics to Bradley, and then we'll go through some of your stuff. And Photo Walks TV. Listen, I downloaded overlay graphics from the Advanced Ecamm episode a few weeks ago, but I lost it in my computer reboot. I don't have those graphics, but however, we'll see what we can do to get that to you. All right, we'll see what we can do to get that to you. So thanks for hanging out with us today, and hopefully you'll learn something here as well. All right.
good, good. So we're gonna keep on moving on.
Yes, sir.
All
And
right.
take your time. We
So
got time.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
go
Okay,
right through it.
okay. And so let's go back to this right here a little bit, because I think working on this one will give you ideas about how I'm gonna ask you, how would you change the next one after I
Gotcha.
put more work into this one. All right. So we might not know the official YouTube font, so we don't have to really worry about that. But I really want that to be big and bold, right? So I'm not going to go through the whole thing of trying to find the perfect font per se. But I even go through the idea of doing things like this. So I even work on spacing,
Uh-huh.
letter spacing, right? And now I can make the font a little bigger because the letters are closer together,
Right.
right? And so you're telling people what to do. So it's basically, don't miss this. Blue is not an attention grabbing color to say, tell somebody don't miss something. So you
Right.
want to go with a brighter color like a red or green or a gold color like you have down here. So even with that, I'd make that bigger. Because as we just said, right, we're looking for prominence. Make the box bigger. Now you can go with that same red again to make it really stand out. And now make that font white. Now you see how that more so stands out now?
It does.
YouTube workshop Saturday. And so now a lot of the thing, and this it's not a knock per se on anything in particular that you might be thinking of, but you always have to think about usually when you're going to be using defaulted templates from Canva or anybody else, they're looking for a uniformity that may not work for grabbing attention, right? And so say you grab the orange template, it's going to make half the text orange, half the text black, half the text a beige color, because it all works in that color scheme per se. But there's no hierarchy being built in that. So use contrasting colors and things like that to build that hierarchy. And so even here for that, don't miss this. Now on the color wheel, green is complementary to red. So even though might not seem like that might not be the best color to use, once you start kind of checking this out and you start using those complementary colors to that other color, now it's really saying, okay, don't miss this YouTube workshop. That's the main thing. And your eyes following the red, right?
Right.
Now, even here. And so as you go through these things, that's what's really jumping out. It looks like a cover image, and you're really pronouncing YouTube workshop, right? Adding an arrow here. I know this kind of means announcement. And so maybe have it here because you're announcing the YouTube workshop, right? But even if this doesn't fit the color scheme, then don't use it. Think of something else, right? Use an arrow instead. Use,
Gotcha.
Make an arrow, don't always fall into that. Oh, that's an intercom. Might not be the right color, so don't use it. Or
Gotcha.
use one that's a single color and then change it to another color. So with that being said, what would you do in general to build hierarchy with this next one?
So that is a good question. I know the color scheme here is a little off, and some of these colors I can't change. So for instead of using this orange, I probably would go in a black in the background if I can't change this green.
So something like that.
And would move these other elements out based on what you did. Move them out a little bit and make this daily reminder bigger.
Bigger, yep. And so those would that'd be exactly what I would be doing. But even with this, right? So say this little blob thing right here, position it to the front. Oh, it's a combo piece. Okay, yeah. So I don't want that on the front because, yeah, if I could make that transparent and just have just those lines, I would have put the lines on top because now the lines almost are serving as little arrows.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? And so think of all those little different pieces like that could be used as accents to call attention and make people read the text you want them to read. So if I wanted people to really read this daily reminder, let them know it's a daily reminder, I'd make that text bigger. I'd make the text more pronounced. And I'm just using red here in a general sense, but it can be any color that's contrasting to the rest of it. Because now that brings more attention than that color being orange.
To it. It definitely does. Mm-hmm.
Automatically, just by being a different color, that's an oddball color. It's like, wait a minute, I need to read that, right?
Right.
And so different things like that. And I guess this is supposed to be kind of a symbol of like a post-it note or a palette window kind of thing. Because it has those little open, close, next kind of bubbles like you would have on a screen for a web browser or something. So just think of different things like that. So if this was a web browser, and that's supposed to be a web browser, does this background really fit with a web browser? Should it be more of a digital looking background?
It should be more of a digital looking or a plain background.
Right. Because then you could even this could still be like another tone, a darker tone maybe of that green. And so I'll click the green. And you want it to really pop off. So instead of making it black, just make it a darker green,
I
right?
got.
And so now you have these other little things, you know, that could be on top, maybe rotated. And so the thing about it, what I tell people in a general sense, the thing you really want to do with any templated type of uh, design you're using, go in with an idea of what you want first, then find a template that's close to that idea, and then make the template flesh out your idea.
Gotcha.
Instead of let me open up Canva, oh, that's a cool template. I'll just edit the text and I'm done. Right?
Right.
Because when you do that, there's 5,000 other people that did the exact same thing.
And your graphics is just gonna look just like theirs. Let me do this
Just
really
like this.
quick. Not to stop you where you're going. I want you to say that, but I want to say hello to Kimberly G for hanging out with us. Silverhead Fitness, how are you doing? I appreciate you guys watching this. And Rich had a really good statement here. You can redraw that window, post it in about 6 clicks. So he is right. Instead of me just using that template, if I wanted to change the colors, I could easily just redraw that. I mean, it's
Right.
really not much to it. We're talking about 1, 2, 3 rectangles, and you have it. And Kimberly
Right.
G is saying the same thing I'm saying. Great advice. Like, this is some good stuff. This is really good stuff. Now, these are my graphics. I'm sitting in your seat today. If you have something and you're brave enough to send it to us, Bradley is here to help. Now, I don't mind it because I'm learning today, and it's these small things that you can do for yourself to learn a lot. So he's teaching a lot today, guys. So hang in there with us, or send us one of yours, and we can look at what you're doing as well. And yes, customizing is what we're trying to do today, or what I'm hearing the story of today is. So if you got those templates, how can you use them to make it your own? As you can tell while I'm talking, he's actually grabbed one element, which is a line arrow. David Hunt, good to see you. He used those line arrows, and he's just copying and pasting. So he's copied one, he made one, copied, and making those elements live. I love it.
And so remember, the last version had these lines and that little blob behind it that we didn't like.
Right?
And so it's like, hey, I want those lines. Make your own lines. And so now, because you kind of like that element, but it wasn't really hitting it for you. So now I can go here, and I'm just spitballing. This is all spitballing right now. But I go here, and now I can even make those different colors. Look at that. Now I'm pointing to daily reminder.
Daily reminders.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like little different things that you can say, hey, this is kind of cool, but not exactly what I want. Redraw it. Redraw the piece that you want. Redo the other thing that you want. But that's like, have an idea and then try to figure out a way to make the application fulfill that idea versus let me go find a cool template, paste my text in, and be done. Now, for expediency, that's awesome. But sometimes that little extra effort you can put in is now like yours doesn't look like everybody else's. And so when somebody sees your graphic, they may have thought they already saw it and scroll past it because they've seen 5 other graphics in their timeline that look just like it. And so, but when you make yours different, they're like, wait a minute, that's not the same thing I just saw those 3 other people do. Right. So they're going to stop and look at it. And the same thing, because somebody asked me about a thumbnail earlier. I know it's a little bit different than a thumbnail, but these social media graphics, think about them like mini billboards because you have to stop the scroll. That's what they're made to do, is stop the scroll. Gotcha. So, and you're competing against every graphic of every different genre and every ad on their timeline. So as they're scrolling, it's not as competitive as YouTube is because there's not like 20 on one page. So you don't have that kind of competition. They can only maybe see 2 at a time as they scroll through their post. But yours is meant to stop the scroll, just like a billboard. How much information can I deliver while they're scrolling? And so,
Right.
how does a billboard do it? Contrast, big fonts, very few words, big image, because they have to convey their message while you're driving by it at 70 miles an hour.
Hmm.
And so they're not going to put a paragraph worth of text on a billboard. They're going to put, hey, look at me, big picture,
Right.
web address, right? And you need to think about that same way, because basically you're on a virtual super highway right now because everybody's scrolling. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's scrolling. And so what about that graphic is going to make them stop the scroll?
I like it. Listen, guys, if y'all are watching this right now, like he's giving some real jewels, and I'm sitting in the hot seat for you and on your behalf today. But if you're here and you are wanting some additional graphic help, please let us know and send us what you got, and we'll look at it right here live and audit your graphics to help you. Now, I don't mind it. I could be the one that's learning everything, and you guys can learn from what he's telling me. This is some good stuff because I am not a graphic designer. I do graphics because I have to, like all of the content creators that we have, like I have to do graphics, but it's not something that I do well. And I'm still having camera problems, but I'm sitting here in the hot seat for you. So if you want us to do it for you, hey, this is how we're going to make it work. So we're going through some of my graphics and auditing some graphics I actually used last week. Like these are some real graphics that I have already used that we're backtracking on to kind of help you as the viewer today. And I appreciate it because I'm learning and now could take more time using the advice he gave to make a template my own. All right. All right. Great. So let's get back to it, Bradley. Let's get back to it.
So here we go here. Now, this next graphic, now, this yellow and orange are not your brand colors, are they?
They're not. So the orange
Okay.
is for what I'm trying to do. Orange and gray and black.
Okay. And so let's do this because now these, we know that these are speech bubbles,
Right.
right? We know that this is the symbol for World Wide Web kind of thing,
Right.
but this doesn't match this, right? Now, most
Right.
people ain't gonna care. They're not gonna care per se, but how are you telling them to contact me, or should it be contact me,
Right.
right? Or so now let's look at this now in a different kind of way. To me, I would go big and kind of have you sitting on the corner of the image there, right?
Uh-huh.
So now, and that's another tale of a template. Everything is centered. Everything is centered. So let's push things off of center. Let's push things off of center, right? And so now you're kind of building a design where everything's not dead center. Make these bigger because now you have space for that,
Right.
right? Build more contrast. So now I know that yellow is not your brand color. It's probably more of a blue color or something like that. Well, I know for the stream show it is. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure what
Right.
color it
Right.
is for
Right.
your
Right.
stuff, right?
Right. Right.
And so even here, you're wearing black. Why make that black? Right?
Right.
Make it a color, right? Now this can now be maybe black for accent, right? And so now we're starting to do that contrast thing and things like that because black on black is not contrasting.
Right.
Yes, you sitting on the white background with all black on is contrasting. The black bubble is contrasting, but the combo of those is not contrasting, right?
So
So everything has to build contrast with each thing. And
while you
so,
building this, Bradley,
mhm.
could you give Kimberly G the information where she can DM you her graphics really quick?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook under Bradley Vinson. Look for me, this mug on Facebook, or I can just have you email it to me. Either way, you can email it to bvinson, BVINSON at bradleyteaches.com. So you can email it there and I can grab it out of my email. So either way. So DM it to me or email it to me. And we can do it either way. Yeah, I didn't think about that because we're actually mostly on YouTube right now. And
Right.
they would have to leave YouTube to DM me. So yeah, didn't think about that part of it.
So
And
it's
I'll actually
B
drop me.
Vinson at bradleyteaches.com.
Yes, and I'm actually putting it into the chat right now. And I spelled it right. Yep. There we go. So that'll get you directly to me that way. Okay, so and this is not bad. Now, I personally, I would, we're talking about contrast again, right? If you had an image of yourself that's in color, I would use a color image of myself. So did
Gotcha.
you make this black and white in
It was
Canva?
a. I didn't make it black and white in Canva.
Okay.
No, it is a black and white photo.
Okay. And so really good
I do
picture.
have a color version of it, but I just used the black and white.
Yeah. And so even, it's like play with it. So even that, right? A big image now. We don't need that.
Right.
So a big image, right? And contact me or reach out to me or let's connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all those different things are part of, and I would definitely make that bold, right? Because we're still talking about what do you want people to do? Where's the contrast at? What are you saying, right? And so now all this text is flowing, everything is flowing around you, right? And
Right.
so we just built, so everything was dead center at first, straight down the middle. And so now you're building a composition. You're in the corner. The let's connect is wrapping around you. Connect with who? We got voice bubbles close to you, like let's talk, right? So
Right.
all these things are kind of going on with that. So kind of, and it's all the same elements. I didn't add any new elements, but now the look is completely different, right? By changing a couple of colors,
Right.
adding some size, different things like that. And so that's the kind of stuff that you can do with that. I really like the orange and black. I like all this. What I would do is change the color of something, even the YouTube workshop, if that was white, because it's the oddball, right? You're doing something different. So now YouTube workshop goes with the picture now, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, YouTube, could it be red? I don't know. But you see now how just from that not being orange, it makes it prominent.
Right.
Because at
Stands out.
first, everything was orange, right? It goes with that red from your phone. Even
Right.
if we pull that red out of your phone, and so you look for different things like that as you build. And so I can go here, use the eyedropper. Now it might not be enough contrast to that black though. See, it's not really a good contrast to the black. And so just different things because I like the black. And so just kind of work your way through it, kind of figure out, okay, how would that work with this? How would that work with that? Instead of the orange, grab the brown out of the stool, right?
And
And so
use
now you
that.
kind of, there you go. So now you're kind of building a color palette from you doing video on your phone, because that's what it's about. Being able to make video from your phone, right? Down
Right.
here, this needs to be more prominent. I'd probably make that text bold. Make it a color, maybe make it the same red as YouTube. And so all those little different things, and see over here, this background is literally feels like it's taking up the same amount of space as all the important stuff on the page. So that's way too much background back here. So the picture could be bigger. And I'm just this kind of just spitball stuff now. It's not like, you know, you see how already how that changes the whole thing
It
with that
does.
being bigger,
Uh-huh.
you know, but then I would kind of move the text around, stuff like that. But you see how more prominent that works now?
Yeah, I
And so
do.
just making certain things bigger and smaller, right? Changes all of that. And then you kind of play with the design and work things around to see how it would actually fit. Then we kind of work on the contrast for that now because that white is sitting on top, the red is sitting on top of the white, different things like that. But even here, because now you use this to bring more attention to you, right?
Right.
So little things like that. And so now it's like, okay, he's talking. Now you have that attention up here around who's the presenter. It's on that date. YouTube works. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then even little different stuff like that. So you maybe move the web address there instead. And so just kind of play with things and, just work them out. I mean, it's because ultimately it's even though I'm making all these changes, right? But I want to let people know that the thing about it is your design. So kind of just and you did it the way you wanted to do it. So I can't poo poo that because
Right.
you were satisfied with what you had. But I'm just saying, start to think through different things you can do or doing those kind of things, right? Uh,
So I guess to be honest with you, so David is definitely saying I want to shout this out, and hopefully Kimberly, you see the email address, and Bradley, did I got the email address right? Vinson at bradleyteaches.com.
yes,
That's on the screen. If this is
and I'll go check my email too.
if this is informational and adding value, please click the like button. So we just want to help people, and this is extremely helpful to me. So if you're a fly on the wall on this and you're learning some stuff like I am, I definitely appreciate Bradley coming on and doing this, but he could do the same for you. Kimberly G should be sending her information on to him as well, and we'll get a chance to look at her stuff. As you can tell, one of the things, Bradley, that I'm getting out of this, now I will tell you this, the mindset of a social media manager, let me say it that way. I'm going to come back on screen. The mindset of a social media manager, and yes, my camera is acting funny today, guys, so I do apologize. Bradley's going to look a whole lot better than me. So, sometimes, so I was getting ready to go on spring break, going out of town, going out of the country and all of that. Great stuff. So I need to be posting while I'm gone. So I go through Canva and I just rush through and getting some graphics done. And as you can tell, Bradley is now helping me see where the graphics could be better. Like sometimes we just need to slow down, be prepared, be organized so you can really dive down into number one, taking those templates and making them your own. Like if you could just do that, so you don't want to have these templates and people are now everybody stuff. Your stuff looks like somebody else, and they have oh we do it all the time. You make that in Canva, or they make that in Canva. We can tell that's a canvas shape right there. All of that stuff. Now again, will it meet my need? Yes, but no. If you want to stand out, if you really want people to contact you, if you really want it to be, I've learned this in the last couple of weeks. If you really want to stand out and people to contact you, there are some rules that you need to have. Now, I'm in the hot seat, guys. I really am. But it's helping me, and I'm hoping that it's helping you. So, yes, it is very helpful, and I do appreciate you saying that. Definitely want graphics to stand out, and sometimes because of the ease of Canva, because of the templates look good, but those templates are not customized to you, and you definitely want them to be that way. So, Bradley, I don't know if you had a chance to get her stuff yet.
No, I don't have anything in my email from her yet. But
Gotcha.
I wanted to say a couple of things to you guys. Having something is better than not having anything.
Okay.
Because he could have been gone for the whole week with no promotional graphics.
Right.
Right. So having something is better than having nothing. But I also say this, when you want to set yourself apart and be considered a guru or a trainer or a coach or whatever else, for any people look at that, right? And to me, honestly, to qualify as a coach is just be 2 steps ahead of whatever you're trying to coach. Right. So if I'm trying to, be a jump rope coach, if I know how to do 2 or 3 different jump rope moves, I can coach that to a beginner. Right.
Right.
If I want to do the, double unders, as they call it in jump rope, I need to know how to do a double under and something before I start trying to coach people on how to do a double under. Right.
Right.
Now, with that said, my expertise is jump rope, not graphics. But if somebody came and looked at my graphic for showing them how to do jump rope, they've never seen me do jump rope. They see that graphic with a picture of me with the jump rope. And if it looks like something that they could have did in Canva, they're like, that dude, okay, I'm not sure how pro that person is, because that's the same template that I've seen my kid use in their presentation for school, right? That's the first impression. And that blue, purple faded background that's on everybody's Canva template, at least change that so it looks different, so people don't think Canva first, right? So it's all those different kind of things, right? And it looks like I got a thumbnail from somebody. Okay, David sent me something. I'm gonna pull his up real quick. I'm gonna download David's thumbnail while we're talking here.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's just that kind of thing, right? Because all these things are first impression type of things. You don't have to be a high-end graphic designer. That's not what I'm saying. But have an idea of what you want and then see if you can make Canva do that versus, I'll just pick the green one, right? Now, the green one is fine if you just need something in the next 10 minutes.
Right.
But if you got 15 or 20 minutes, spend a little extra time. That's all I'm saying.
I like that. And of course, this is just here to help. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to go back into one of yours real quick, because this is probably the easiest fix. And then we're going to go into David's.
Let's do it.
All right. So here's the next one. Love the graphic.
Hold on, Bradley, before you start. Hold on before you start. Now, this is like, come on, the easiest thing that I did. Like, I put ready and go and my bio link down at the bottom. Like, I didn't do anything with this, and this was like super simple for me. So let's see how you dissect this one. This is gonna be interesting.
Very iconic. I like it. I like that the graphic is in the middle. I would consider maybe setting it over to the side, but there's a couple of things that I would. Let me just spitball an idea while I'm talking to you.
Yes, let's do it.
So say,
and you can tell I did graphics, I did Canva, so the old graphics is still in the background, but go ahead, I love it.
So let's do this, because we're using an existing graphic. I like that. So say we got ready, right?
Uh-huh.
And
go. Uh-huh.
So we got ready, go. I would do go a lot bigger. Because that's what you want people to do is go, right? So ready, go. I would even put, because the camera used to serve kind of as the ... right? Because it was the pause.
Uh-huh.
Even more like that, or even don't even have the ready, don't have the ready bold, because it's more important to go than to be ready.
Right.
Because you're saying, do it scared, right? Do it whatever.
Right.
Now, what I would do, which is going to be kind of funny right now, because go obviously should be green, but even the idea of go being a prominent color that kind of matches the go live concept, because all the live buttons are red, right? And
Right.
so you kind of have that thing. So I would even do something like this. And let me just look this up really quick. I'm gonna say triangle. I'm going to build
A go
my
button.
own go button, but I'm going to build the go button inside the O. Position to the front. Now this is all spitballing, brand new. Make it white. And then what I would do is look for a oval. Because I'm not sure if Canva, well, you know what? I wonder if Canva lets me, I could do a square. Because I know the square has, six
On the
quadrants
sides.
on it. Yeah, so I can make it any size. And I'd make that square. I think that's the right color red. Position, backward. See that?
Wow.
And so now you're telling, so that's basically telling people go live, right?
Right.
So it's ready to go, real simple. I might even repeat that color in my web address because I'm the person that's showing them how to go.
Right.
You see what I mean? And so basic, right? And there might be some more stuff I might do to it in a general sense, but just that little change with an already dynamic picture, there you go, right? And so stuff like that. So kind of keep tweaking, keep playing, keep doing things like that. So now let me go
Chris
to
is like, boom, like he did it. Like, yes, you can definitely tell a graphic artist from somebody that likes to talk on on YouTube.
and let me go to this is David's graphic. There we go. All right. So let's
And anybody else that has a graphics, this is Bradley's email address. So if you send your graphics to his email address, we're doing live audits. Like, this is it. And it's not to hurt, it's to help. These are some constructive ideas that can help you do better with your graphics, because like this is a thumbnail. This is the difference between a click or not, based on how your thumbnails look. So let's go. Let's dive in.
Okay. So thumbnails. Thumbnails' main purpose is to stop the scroll. Then the title gets the click. Thumbnails stop the scroll. Title gets the click. Thumbnails are competing with every other thumbnail. I don't care what the genre is, boxing, wrestling, Minecraft. Your thumbnail is competing with all those thumbnails. So that being said, this is not a stop the scroll type of thumbnail, right? So think Billboard. So we're going to go, let me go, since you already have red. Oh, I'll keep red. All right. Let me get my brush. My brush is on. All right. And throw the contrast up on that brush. All right. So what we're going to do here is, for me, that's too much text for a thumbnail. And the picture, if I was on my phone, I wouldn't be able to tell what that was.
Okay.
So what I would do is probably have a different photo of a keyboard. But the thing about that, it's going to be black and white. Most keyboards are black and white. Now, so 40 minutes of worship piano. So we're not going to talk about the title because let me talk about the title too, since we're here. We're just going to help full focus help. That's not anything that I would click on. It's very descriptive, but it's not clickable, right?
The action behind it.
The action, exactly. So 40 minutes of worship piano. Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I'd have to workshop the title on that, because this title should be the text title that's next to the thumbnail.
Right.
It might not need to be on the thumbnail. You might even just want to call it worship, right? Or so with that, because you have a piano, and then the word worship is saying everything. Piano and worship.
So the
right?
piano that is actually written in the text here is a duplicate.
Right, because you already have the piano back here, right? But I would use a different angle of the piano. So say, for instance, let's say that's at a diagonal like this. That's diagonal. And that's a piano. And you got the keys of the piano over here. So let's say the piano is diagonal like that. So that's the piano. And over here is a solid color. So you got just kind of a close-up of a piano with a solid color. And over here, I would just put worship. WORSHIP. Just put worship, or even put small 40 minutes or 40 MIN of worship. Don't worry about the word piano. Don't worry about the word live. And so that kind of thing, right? And you can even have 40 minutes of worship, 40 minutes of small, worship big. And then just have a play button that symbolizes going live, right? Because you're stopping the scroll. You don't have to give all the information in the thumbnail. And I wish I had, you know what? We got Canva. Let's go back to Canva.
Let's do it.
And let's go
Just
back
add
to
a page
Canva.
at the bottom. Just add a page.
Yeah,
at the
let's
bottom.
do that. Go all the way down, add a page. And now this is the wrong shape, obviously. So don't worry about that. So let me look up, let's go to photos.
You can resize it if you need to.
No, we just do a square. We just do like it's another kind of image, but it'll work the same thing. Piano. See, I even like that one. So say we got a piano. And let's go back, elements.
He's killing it live for you guys. Like, he's building this live for you, David. So let's see, like, once this is done, how it actually works for you and how many more clicks you would get on the video because of a thumbnail done with the graphic guru, Bradley Vinson, to help us through it, okay? Sometimes we can even look inside of genres and you can say, well, Bradley, I see tons of emails or thumbnails in my genre that says the same thing. But what if yours was different? What if what if you really took time in your thumbnail and it stood out from the rest? That's how you get the click. Okay?
Right.
How important is fonts in this as you're doing this?
I always use sans serif fonts in my social media graphics. My thumbnails, I do not use serif fonts in my thumbnails at all.
So sans serif fonts
Means no feet. See how these are straight lines? The little lines at the top and bottom that would be at the bottom of this R and the H, those are called serifs. So I heard it was Italian for feet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so sans serif means no feet.
No feet. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, obviously, this is kind of the wrong shape of a thumbnail, right?
Right.
But now we're going more so now.
So, guys, sometimes I do make duplicate sizes or different sizes of my thumbnail. Why did I do that? Because a post that's a square uh, can actually be made on social media posts like Facebook and then Instagram. I can make a post with it in a square, still the similar look of my thumbnail, and then I'll put the thumbnail or the link to the post that will actually have the thumbnail right under that post. Those are just small little tricks that I do sometimes to, kind of still use different sizes of the same graphics. So you just move it around a little bit to make it fit. And as you can tell, Bradley is going in on this. And if you, David is definitely saying grateful. Yes, sir. We are working for you so that we can get some additional clicks from your good 40 minutes of worship that you do live, brother. I love it.
So with this now, because more people also think of it like this. More people are likely to watch the replay than to watch it live because the worship is evergreen.
Right.
Right. So you can put live in the title. I wouldn't put live in the graphic.
Gotcha.
Because that graphic is going to last a lot longer than your live event.
Right.
Right. So you want people to stop the scroll. Right. So high contrast, few words. It says piano. You could even have a choir there instead or something like that. So one big image. Let me see. I'm just going to type this in let me see.
Now, the reason why he has a piano is because he's playing the piano. So it's not really a choir. It's not choir worship.
Right. But worship is worship music that people will worship to.
Gotcha.
Right. And so I would watch it or participate because I'm going to worship to him playing the music.
I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you can still maybe have a person, with their hands raised, like they're worshiping, right? But you don't want to give the impression they're going to be watching somebody worship. So yeah, you want to make sure with the graphic, but single graphic, big graphic that's prominent, don't necessarily need the hands on it. 40 minutes of worship, right? And so that's just kind of spitballing. It's really quick and whatever. But
let me ask you another
big graphic, big words.
Ask you another question from David. What's your thoughts on using your face or likeness on thumbnails or images?
Yes. If you are okay, when you're making thumbnails, figure out who the hero is. Always figure who the hero is. So like if I'm making a thumbnail about lower thirds or a countdown, let's say countdown timer. So I'm making a video about a countdown timer. So I'm making a thumbnail about a countdown timer. The countdown timer is the hero. So I need to have a graphic that shows a countdown timer in the thumbnail, right? Versus a picture of me. Now, if I'm the brand and I'm always the hero, put a picture of me because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for me, right?
Right.
But if I'm trying to get people that want to make a countdown timer should be the graphic.
Gotcha.
Right? And so figure out who the hero is, and that's what the graphic should be. That's the best way to think about it. And you can be the hero, right? Because you're the artist, you're the musician, so you can be the hero. But if you're going to use a person big, where they can see your facial features, they can see the brightness of your eyes and your smile. Don't have a full body picture. Have it at least chest up, if not just the head,
Headshot.
right? Right. But big, not little in the corner. Because if you're the hero, big, then big text next to it.
So let's see if someone else may have sent an email. We may have just a
She
few more
did.
minutes for another graphics. Okay.
Yeah. Here, Kimberly sent me something, and let me see if I can download it.
So while he's downloading that, guys, every time I go to the screen and I look at my camera, it's like, oh, I don't know why my camera looks like this. But we are giving you some great information today. This was a live audit of graphics. Like Bradley wanted to do it. He's doing it inside of his group. And before we get out of here today, we'll tell you how you can join his group and get more information about how to do graphics. Like, this is important to all of us because this is a difference between a click or not. Like, we want to stop the scroll, and he is definitely giving us some great information today. I have some work to do to go back and do with some of my graphics, and we are appreciating the people that are actually in it. So yes, David, you're right. The aspect ratio we were working on did look like a CD cover. And it's that same kind of thought when you're doing graphics. You're trying to convey a message. He said it today. You're trying to convey a message like a billboard. So people are looking
Right.
really, really quick. So you want to have information on it they can see without having to think so hard. So here we go.
All right. And okay, so she has Women of Rock. I'm not sure if this is a thumbnail or and I'm going to actually take myself off the screen
Okay.
so you can see a little bit better. I don't want to crowd the screen with me. Let me turn me off. Okay. So this is Women of Rock. Now, decent thumbnail, if it's a thumbnail. If it's an ad for social media stuff like that, decent. But what I would still do, because it says Women of Rock, that doesn't look like a woman. So what I would do
A
is
woman with really big shoulders.
yeah. And it could be, I'm not trying to say whatever, but don't look like a woman.
Right.
So over here, this says rock and roll. Where you got I'm actually doing it, but you can't see me. When you got the rock and roll fingers,
Right.
that says rock and roll. So what I would do is probably, I'm gonna copy this. Remind me later for that. All right. So what I would do is I would make that part of the image a lot bigger. See how that makes a difference already? Women of Rock, just by that image being different like that. Because you got the rock and roll fingers, right? And I would have Women of Rock. It can still be at an angle over here to the side. Because now you're saying rock and roll with the image without a man on it, because that can be anybody's fingers with the rock and roll symbol.
And this
you
is
could
a
probably even
thumbnail, by the way, Bradley. This is a thumbnail.
Okay, it is a thumbnail. Okay. Yeah, so I would have, let me see if I can do, let me say rock and roll, see if I can find something. Right there. See that? So we're going to make this real quick. And that's not exactly how I would like it, but it's close. And I'm going to make this background I'm going to take the background off of this because I want to make the background a whole different color. There you go. All right. So, and maybe we don't need the rest of the sleeve. So we got that. So now you got your hero image already, right? Now rock and roll, and you want to say women, not being chauvinistic, but let's go with a pink kind of color, right? I would put an outline around this. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it, and then because I got to go with the retro version, the shadow effect is under the. They moved the shadow effect on.
I went back to classic because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how to go to classic. I don't know where that's at no more.
Well, there was a button that was there at one
Oh, there we
point.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know why they're doing that, but it is what it is.
It's all good. Hey man, live video. So, and when I do my stuff at Canva like this, I always do mine with multiple copies of the image in case I want to do stuff. Because sometimes it'll hold it, and sometimes it won't when you start doing new things to stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with glow. Click glow. No blur. Kick the size up. Full color. And actually, that white looks pretty good. But, I mean, that black looks pretty good. But I'm gonna do white. All right. Just in case I want to put a shadow on it later, right? Position
Nice.
it to the back. So now you got your hero. You got rock and roll. And now we're going to add some text. And see, that's the simplicity of it. You just want something that's going to stop the scroll.
Right.
You don't want to put the whole thing on there. You can put, Women of Rock. Obviously bold. Obviously really big. Way bigger than that. And we can make the size bigger later. But even like that, right? Oh, yeah. That's not going to be too good. All right. So, because I would put women, then put of smaller, but it won't let me do that in Canva. I got to do it in all. That's the thing about Canva. You got to do things in pieces. Because if I was an illustrator, I could make all the fonts different sizes if I wanted to. But
Well, maybe it was
basically,
just that line. It was just that line. Maybe if you hit
yeah.
enter behind.
What?
Yeah.
Well, but I still want the word rock to be next to it.
What
Because I
I'm
want.
saying. Okay, I was thinking maybe you just delete it and go back and put rock back in there.
Oh yeah. Because I can make it bigger, then delete the space and maybe put it back, and maybe it'll work.
And the
Can't
old
really
way of
tell.
doing this in Canva is you have to make a different square to make them different sizes. But yeah.
Yeah, and
So
that's stayed
yeah,
the
it
same way.
took it back.
But
Yeah.
I would do kind of a play on words like women of small and rock big. So
Big.
it says women rock.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so do that, do it at an angle for sure. And so, so you kind of got to play on words, women rock and women of rock, because it says both things, right?
Right.
But then I have it super big fingers. And now the hero is the rock and roll symbol. It says something basic, women of rock. And they're like, wait a minute, who is this? Is it going to be a tribute thing about women of rock and roll? And so now it's going to stop the scroll because people don't know really what that means. It could be like great women of rock and roll. Is it a rock and roll cover band? They don't know. And then the title is what's going to make them click. So I don't know what your title is, but everything else kind of fits perfectly, right? Big image, whatever the hero is. You can do a gradient back there, but you definitely want you know what? Because I can't stand for this not to be right. That's just me. All right, so let's do this. Women. All right. Then I'm going to copy that.
There you go.
not bold, and smaller.
She wants you to email this back to her when you're done as well.
Okay. So now you can still have like that little, even if, even if you want to do, let me look up rock and roll one more time. What are elements? But even if you had like a little silhouette of a crowd, because I'd want it to be an image, like this kind of image right here, but just have kind of people rocking out, it's just black silhouette of either people dancing or other hands in the air, like they're celebrating, and that can be kind of a little jagged edge here on the bottom. And so now you definitely want to contrast these words, and so I'd have these would be white, and you can even have them at different colors, right? But I would do also, I'd put a stroke around it.
That's something new to Canva as well.
Yep. You see how that's already standing
like
out?
that.
Women
I
of
like
rock.
that.
And so, very simple hero image, contrasting text. I still would like a cool little silhouette of people dancing or partying in the background back here.
So Michelle from LBC Branding is saying just look up cutouts.
Oh, yeah. Rock and roll cutout. But there's like free vector applications too. Um,
Man, do
yeah.
graphics and see y'all on the graphics.
Not that kind of cheesy one, but
Right.
it's like a crowd,
Right.
And I know I can find it if I had more time. It probably not, I probably couldn't find it for this. But see that's not terrible, but I'm not super happy with that either. But you definitely want, because that ain't rockish.
Right.
That don't say rock to me, Send it to the back. That don't say rock and roll to me, but you know what I mean. But you can even, so when you're doing it, that's a thumbnail. You don't
Right.
need a bunch of stuff going on for a thumbnail. But now you have contrast, hero image, it stops the scroll, and now your title will say greatest women, top 50 women of rock and roll. Then people are going to click that. But the thumbnail is what stopped the scroll.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that. So we good?
Yeah, man. Yeah, don't forget to send that to Kimberly G so she can have it. Like I would, like just put Bradley Vinson, autograph it for her. Hey guys, we've had a great time today. Thank you everybody for chiming in, and I have some work to do, not only on my graphics but on my camera as well. I have some work to do, and Bradley, man, I want to tell you this. Every time you come on, you give so much value to the stream show and all of us at Ecamm that watch this. How can people, because I know you have some things going on your own page and inside of your group, can you tell us what you're doing right now and how you can help people that really need graphic help?
Yeah, I mean, right now, because I have a little Gumroad store. When I make graphics, I jump in the lab like I talk about here and do things like that. But I'm actually going to start a graphics membership where I'm
Okay.
going to send people graphics every couple of weeks, lower thirds, countdown animations, thumbnail templates, and designs that you can kind of edit in Keynote and or Canva. And so that's going to be something I'll be working on pretty soon. So I'm really excited about that. My YouTube channel is still up and thriving for tutorials to help people do their own stuff. Because my thing is to empower the designer to
Gotcha.
create.
Bradley
But
teaches, right?
Bradley Teaches. Look me up at Bradley Teaches. Look me up on Facebook under Bradley Teaches. I have a group there. Pro Graphics. don't even know what to call the group anymore. But it's pro level. I think I call it Pro Graphics. I don't know, but but look me up on Facebook. Just reach out to me in DM and I'll invite you to the group. It's a free group where I drop tutorials in all the time. I drop some goodies in there all the time. Yeah, but I think my graphics group or my graphics membership is going to be a cool thing to help people create and stay creative and do some cool things. It's going to have a Facebook group attached to it so we can workshop, help you edit those things and do stuff like that. So it's going to be fun, something new I'm working on.
That's awesome. Again, thank you for hanging out with us today. I'm just extremely blessed by the information. I really am. And I hear the thundering going on over there. So I'm going to wrap up before that. Yeah, I can hear the thunder for real. Like, that's loud. Yeah. It's not too loud, but I understand you got some bad weather coming through your area as well. So thank you for giving us the time while all of that is happening around you. And we're going to continue to keep praying for you and all that you do and the success that you're having, okay?
Yeah, appreciate you, man. And Kimberly, I'm going to send you this Canva file. And hey, y'all, just reach out to me. You got something you're working on, I'd be happy to help you out.
That's awesome. So again, glad to have you today. Next week, guys, we will be off. No stream show on Easter. And then we'll be coming right back with some great stuff. I actually think it's 2 weeks. My wife is in California the next Sunday. So we have some traveling to do. And like Rich said, please drop a like on your way out, family. See you guys in a couple of weeks.
Peace, y'all.
Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.